Hey, friend, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of The Amber May Show. I am so glad you joined me today. I want to welcome the chat. Thank you guys so much for being here. I love that my friends show up each and every episode. If you've been a longtime viewer but never been a part of our friend circle, come on over to the chat. We'd love to welcome you. Say hello if you've been a longtime viewer but have never been a part of the chat circle. Welcome. We're glad that you're here. I have a lot to discuss on today's episode. We're going to talk a little bit about the shutdown, and then we're going to get into some wins in the judicial system where Donald Trump has been winning some court cases, some National Guard deployments, and a lot more on today's episode. So I have a lot packed in. We'll see what we can get to on today's episode. So I want to send a shout out to my media partners over at faithandfreedomnetwork.tv, faithandfreedomnetwork.tv, UG Media. We air on Fridays over at UG Media, Express radio station there at Live 365, and then a Patriot-Radio. We do that. We're going to start doing that every Thursday. Now I figured out a way how I can broadcast the same time I'm going live right here on Rumble. So we're going to do that. And I want to thank my friend Maverick from the Slacker 82 Alpha Show. We're helping each other out. He's putting me on his platform. I'm putting him on mine. So another media partner there. I want to thank my friends. So if you haven't checked them out, they were on hiatus for a while, Slacker 82 Alpha. They're back. So you can find them right here on Rumble, Slacker 82 Alpha. Give them a like and a follow. Give my friend God Signpost a like and a follow. My friend Handy News. Tuesday, Thursday, you know the lineup. It's God Signpost, Handy News, and right into the Amber May Show. And you know the lineup on Wednesday. It's God Signpost, Handy News, something else. And then we go into the Nun Report, and then my show, and then the Michael Schwartz Show. So that's the lineup on Wednesday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So it's Dan Nunn, my show, and the Michael Schwartz Show. And we all support each other. So give all of us content creators a like and a follow. And a shout out to the old man from the Old Man's Podcast over on Podbean or wherever you get your audio podcast. So how about we get started on the show, shall we? Because I got a lot to get to.
On the Amber May Show, the truth runs deep. Fighting for the lost, for the souls who weep. Breaking the silence, making a stand. A voice for the people across this land. Children stolen, lives betrayed. She won't back down, she's lighting the way. A beautiful warrior with faith so bright, holding the line in this endless fight. On the Amber May Show, the truth runs deep. Fighting for the lost, for the souls who weep. Breaking the silence, making a stand. A voice for the people across this land.
Well, I'm so glad you came to this episode today. Hey, one other thing. When you're at the ambermayshow.com, check out the merchandise tab. I have some wonderful merchandise. And coming to my website pretty soon, a hoodie, maybe a jacket, that is coming on my website very soon. I'm trying to work on that. Hopefully I can get it done quicker than normal. But yeah, check out the merchandise tab, theambermayshow.com. And then while you're at the ambermayshow.com, make sure you also check the resource tab. I add a lot of different resources there. Lately, it's been a little slower than normal, but you guys saw what my life was like on yesterday's episode. When you're a premium subscriber, you get behind the scenes of my life. So Amber May and real life. So make sure you subscribe. If you can't do the $10 a month with Rumble Premium right now, actually Rumble Premium, Rumble's adding a discount. You can get $15 off your subscription if you use promo code SPOOKY at checkout. So maybe now's the time if you wanted to get the Rumble Premium and have everyone's premium content and no ads. Or if that's just too much for you, right there in the Rumble chat, you can subscribe for $5 a month and then you won't miss any of my premium content. That's pretty darn good, the premium content. And then also you get bonus by seeing what my life is behind the mic in real life. And so Tuesday, you guys got to see all that and see how busy I am. So I'm trying to get my jackets up, my hoodies. And then I'm contemplating what we're going to do Wednesday, because I have a thing I'm going to Wednesday, and that might be part of my in real life. We'll see. All right, so let's head on with the headlines today, because there's so much to go over. And this is an exclusive article from Breitbart, so I thought I'd share it with you. DNI Tulsi Gabbard U.S. counterterrorism resources helped capture Sinaloa Cartel Plaza boss El Pato. I'm so glad being in Arizona, that's one of the big cartels that we deal with is the Sinaloa Cartel. So thank you, Tulsi Gabbard. U.S. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard announced on Tuesday evening that the National Counterterrorism Center provided actionable intelligence to U.S. and Mexican law enforcement officials to successfully capture the boss of the Sinaloa Cartel Plaza known as El Pato. We will not allow cartel gangs who target Americans to roam freely, whether in the U.S. or across the border in Mexico. Our team at NCTC is on the watch, preparing for the moment to strike, Gabbard said in a Tuesday evening statement provided exclusively to Breitbart News ahead of its public release. For more than 2 decades, NCTC has led the intelligence community in synchronizing information that can be turned into actionable intelligence for operators around the world to act on to go after those who threaten the safety and security of the American people. Now, thanks to President Trump's leadership, we are surging resources against the cartel and gang leaders, disrupting their networks and working alongside our Mexican partners to make communities safer and protect American lives. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence, which Gabbard leads, announced on Tuesday the arrest of Sinaloa Cartel Plaza boss, who is also known as El Patio in Juarez, Mexico, on October 15, 2025, stemming from U.S. intelligence officials helping authorities locate him. The release states that El Pato is allegedly responsible for leading a wide range of illicit activities, including drug trafficking, extortion, kidnapping, and murder. He was later apprehended while attempting to flee the area alongside 3 additional cartel money launderers, the release states. There's more in that article that you're welcome to check out. But I won't get into the rest of it, but that's the gist of it. And I'm so glad, they are talking about, I can't believe Tom Massey, why you would question them blowing up those dinghy boats. They have the intel. We have Navy intel officers. Okay. I know that there's the Navy ships along the South America, around South America. And then you have DNI. We have all this intelligence. You don't think that Donald Trump doesn't know exactly who he's targeting? Of course he does. I am so glad we literally have a war on terrorism. And I'm so glad we have a war on drugs. And I'm so glad they're going after the cartel. I don't know of a single president. I can't remember. You guys are the smartest chat on Rumble. You tell me which president has gone after the cartel like this one. I'm so grateful for him. Now, they're going to go after him. They're going to go after this man, John Fetterman, because he actually is making sense. And that's why they're going to go after him, because he's breaking the narrative. He's going on his own. He's using his own brain. And, they can't have that. They have to have lockstep. Everyone has to do what we are told. The orders, please. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're following the orders. But lately, Fetterman's been thinking on his own. And while I don't agree with everything he says, at least he's someone that we could probably have a conversation with and maybe come to some middle ground and negotiations. So Fetterman backs the GOP nuclear option to end government shutdown. Let's see what this nuclear option is. And this is being reported by yournews.com, which you can find my content on yournews.com. So I hope you find me. Here's the search glass right there. You just look for the Amber May Show or Amber May. And you can find my content at yournews.com, another media partner. So Senator John Fetterman said Tuesday that he would support Senate Republicans nuking the filibuster to end the ongoing federal government shutdown, which has stretched into its 3rd week and left millions of Americans without key services or pay. Calling the standoff bad political theater, Fetterman told The Hill that he supports a temporary suspension of the 60-day Senate threshold to allow a simple majority vote on a House-passed funding bill that would immediately reopen the government. Now, one of the talking points for the Democrats is, we have a majority Senate. We have a majority House. We have the White House, too. The problem with their narrative and the people that listen to them aren't thinking this through. We have a simple majority. We don't have a super majority. So it has been taking 60 votes, which we do not have, in order to open the government, which would require some of the Democrats to vote alongside the Republicans. So their talking points, if their people would just use some common sense would tell them that it is the Democrats that are stopping the government shutdown. Now, with this solution, if it was just a simple majority, then if we didn't open the government, it would be our fault if we had a defector who decided to vote no against opening the government. Now, this would not be an issue had they passed a stupid budget. But of course, they haven't had a budget. What was it since Clinton's administration? They haven't had a budget. Now, if they would have had a budget, we wouldn't have had this government shutdown. So they just need to get their stuff in order and pass a freaking budget, for crying out loud, and stop with continuing resolution after continuing resolution. But if this is the way you want to go for now, then we were going to need a simple majority, because I don't think they're coming to the table. There's no winners here. It's not getting better every day. People are going to start getting really hungry. And I've been fully committed to fund SNAP, open up the government, Fetterman said, referring to the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, commonly known as food stamps, which is beginning to run out of funding. He also noted that U.S. Capitol police officers are working without pay during the shutdown. Now, I would suspect that if you're very hungry, you're going to go to some food banks, or you would pick up a second job. We'll see. I don't know what I'm not trying to pass judgment. I don't know people's situations, but I did see a video on X that had like generations of people in SNAP. Generations. Like, you're supposed to be able to get a better paying job eventually. You know, if you need to go to school or get a better paying job. But not that I really want you to go to school, but you know what I mean? Like, get the skill sets you need for a better paying job, so you don't have to be on this nutritional program forever. Because if the government doesn't give you your handout, then what? You're a slave to the government if you can't get on your 2 feet eventually. So you have to find a solution so that you can take care of yourself, right? I'm not passing any judgment on anybody, but I'm saying at some point, if you stay on this government assistance, then you're relying on someone other than yourself to provide for you. And in this situation, look, they've been shut down for 3 weeks. So then what do you do? Well, you got to figure that out. What are you going to do? Food banks are a temporary solution. The bigger solution is getting a better paying job. So this is just bad political theater. Open it up, he said. And when asked directly whether he should support Republicans using the so-called nuclear option to override the filibuster for the funding measure, Fetterman replied affirmatively. So he seems like someone that we could negotiate with, find middle ground, find common grounds. And that's what we need on the other side of the aisle sometimes. So Fetterman also criticized fellow Democrats who opposed the move, saying, I don't want to hear any Democrats clutching their pearls about the filibuster. We all ran on it. He's making some sense there. The Senate filibuster, which requires 60 votes to advance non-legislation, has been a point of contention for years in both parties. And while Democrats previously sought to abolish it for voting rights and judicial appointments, many have since defended it as a tool for bipartisanship. So that's that article. And then Just the News is reporting Senate Democrats block Republicans' plan to end government shutdown for the 11th time. Goodness gracious. It's like political theater. It's like a soap opera on the Hill. Is as tomorrow turns, or as the waves come, or whatever you want to call the soap opera. That's what we watch. That's what we watch. So Just the News is saying the Senate on Monday night failed for the 11th time to advance the Republican-led continuing resolution that would reopen the federal government. The vote failed in a 50-43 split. What do we need to do this? A 60 vote. We need 10 Democrats to come and vote along the Republicans. So therefore, the talking point of the Democrats is null and void. It is a failure of the Democrats. I don't care that we control the House, the Senate, and the White House. We do not have a supermajority of any of them. We have a small, tiny minority lead. That's it. We're just tiny, itty-bitty, simple majority. That's it. So Republican Kentucky Senator Rand Paul voted with most Democrats to reject the resolution. There we go. If you would come over, we would only need 9 votes, sir, but you keep continuing. I get it. I am with you on this issue. Get a freaking budget already. But that's not the case in this very moment. You can't do that unless the government's open. But even if it does get open, are you going to pass the budget so we're not in this place again? We'll see. So it rejects the resolution while Democratic Nevada Senator Mascio and Independent Maine Senator King voted with the GOP. Okay, so slowly we're getting somewhere with a couple Democrats. 7 senators did not vote in the latest round, including Democratic Pennsylvania John Fetterman. What the heck? John, come on. We've been talking about this, man. Who has been siding with Republicans to end the shutdown. So no shutdown votes are scheduled for Tuesday so far, but the Senate will attempt to invoke a cloture on 2 judicial nominees and attempt to confirm at least 1 judicial nominee. Hey, on this case, that's kind of helping us right now because we're getting some of these people through. Otherwise, we would have been halted and going through all the rigmarole of trying to get these people appointed. So on one hand, it's helping us. Hakeem Jeffries, what do you have to say?
And when it comes to these extremists out there, you better watch how you talk when you talk about me.
They can't handle this because they have been controlling the narrative for decades now. And now that we control the narrative, and now that these memes are really taking off with the people, they can't stand it. It's bothering them to no end. Well, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about more of all of this nonsense and shenanigans. Coming up right here on the Amber May Show. Hey, friends, if you're looking for a doctor you can trust, look no further than Dr. Stella, and you can find her at drstellamd.com. Let me show you one of the areas that I love about Dr. Stella. I enjoy supporting the immune system, especially when it comes to cold and flu season. And I love the COVID Light, the COVID Sleep, especially if you're having trouble sleep at night. Get that COVID Sleep. It'll help you so much. So not only are you supporting the immune system, but it also helps you get a good night's sleep. The COVID Spray is super easy. COVID Bites. These are my favorite, the COVID Bites. She has placed vitamin C, D, zinc, and quercetin. And we all know that that zinc helps support the body's immune system, but zinc needs delivery system. So that quercetin is the delivery system to drive that zinc in to help your body heal faster and feel better. Also has COVID vitamins for kids as well. Hey, and if you're looking to get Ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine, or you just feel under the weather and need a doctor you can trust, set up a telemed appointment with her. And the best part is when you use my name Amber or Amber May at checkout, whether you need your COVID Vites or a telemed appointment, you will save money at checkout. So don't forget to use promo code Amber or Amber May at checkout to save some money. So go visit drstellamd.com and then use promo code Amber or Amber May at checkout to save some money.
Hey, I'm General Mike Clint, and you're listening to the Amber May Show. This is wonderful.
Ever thought about having your own podcast? Let me show you how easy it can be. Worried about tech and the mic? I break it down in the course. Think about you thinking that you need some expensive studio? I show you the kind of studio and how easy it is and cost effective it is to start your own podcast today. Starting your own podcast can be overwhelming, and I show you the right steps to launch your show successfully. So join me at Podcast Like a Pro. I'm Amber May with over 20 years of experience in the broadcasting and podcasting world, and I could show you how to podcast like a pro because I am a pro. So become a pro just like me by going to theambermayshow.com. Look for the tab Podcast Like a Pro, and what's even better, prices have been slashed. Save over $100 when you use promo code Amber at checkout. I slashed the price and I'm adding a promo code into it. So join now. Now is the best time to be a podcasting pro just like me. So go to theambermayshow.com, hit Podcast Like a Pro with the newer, lower prices. And don't forget promo code Amber at checkout. And now we return to the show already in progress. Hey friends, thank you so much for being here at the ambermayshow.com. Remember, go to the ambermayshow.com, check out the merchandise tab, grab some merchandise. And again, I'm shortly there'll be hoodies, possibly jackets on there because I know it's getting cold. And I can't wait to get myself a jacket or a hoodie. So I'm excited about that. Now, friends, I really want to say, be careful. Talk to your pastors about this. We are continuing to see a rise in gun violence at churches. So I don't know if you guys heard this, but Off the Press is reporting that weekend fires at 2 North Carolina churches are being investigated as arson. So whether it's most of the time we've been hearing in the media about these mass shootings, but sometimes we have arsonists. We just need to have a discussion with our pastors, our elders, whoever, the church council, whatever you call the leadership of the church, and make sure there's a plan in place, especially for a mass shooting. Okay, so the fires were set at 2 North Carolina churches Friday night, and the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office said Calvary's Cross Baptist Church and Tabernacle Baptist Church in the Caesar area, northern Cleveland County, were damaged. The sheriff's office said residents quickly noticed the fires and put them out. The fires were set between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. and are being investigated as arson. The sheriff's office said the 2 churches are over 4 miles apart and more than a 10-minute drive. Authorities ask anyone with information to call the sheriff's office at 704-484-4822 or Crime Stoppers at 704-481-8477. Once again, the sheriff's office number is 704-484-4822, and the Crime Stoppers number is 704-481-8477. Off the Press is also reporting how Huntington Beach becomes California's most MAGA city. What? Is this even possible? Well, according to Off the Press, it's saying former President Ronald Reagan famously called Orange County the idyllic and affluent Southern California community as a place where good Republicans go to die. He meant it as a compliment, a reflection of the area's foundational conservative values. Yet in recent years, Huntington Beach, the country's hippie beachside surfer haven, has drawn national attention for leaning dramatically further to the right. The conservative majority city council, representing its 200,000 residents, have pushed right-leaning policies into action, sometimes directly in response to more progressive policies statewide. Just a few years ago, Huntington Beach had a Democratic-led city council, but in 2023, virtually unknown conservatives, backed by the already seated Republican members, successfully ousted the last remaining Democrats. The newly installed all-Republican group dubbed themselves as Magnificent Seven. In a cell phone call with SF Gate, Huntington Beach Mayor Pat Burns, who was elected to the city council in 2022, summed it up differently. It's a middle-class town, basically, and we just want to live our lives with a little government in control as possible. And that's what we're all about. Make government so small we barely know it's there. And hey, if Huntington Beach can do it, I have still hope for California. Oh, you got to see this video. Oh, the White House is so wonderful with their trolling. It's setting the other side in flames and so pissed. And they did a great job on this video. Here we go.
All I can do right now is put on a brave face and go out there and be their leader.
This shutdown hasn't eaten into Donald Trump's support at all. His net approval rating is actually up a point.
It's over. We are screwed.
Yes.
All I can do right now.
Yes, you are. Sorry to say. Yes, you are. And I have a lot of these articles lined up because it's super important that we really hammer down the truth of what's going on, because they want to lie to us and they say Donald Trump doesn't legally have the authority to deploy National Guards. Well, it's interesting. Now, this is not the article today I'm talking about, but I just saw yesterday that the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that Donald Trump can, maybe I do have this story, that Donald Trump can deploy National Guards to Portland. And let's just get this straight. I know God Signpost is familiar with the Ninth Circuit Court. It's part of my area too. I'm in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, and they are the most liberal justices there are in the United States, most of their decisions get overturned. So the fact that they overturned a lower court that was stopping Donald Trump from deploying National Guards into Portland is huge. The story is huge because of that, but I don't think I'm covering that today. But I wanted to make sure that that was known. U.S. Marshal and illegal immigrant shot during Los Angeles immigration operation. This is awful. A U.S. Marshal and an illegal immigrant were both shot Tuesday in Los Angeles during an immigration enforcement operation. Fox has learned about. Federal agents surrounded and boxed in someone in a vehicle. Oh, I talked about this yesterday in my premium show. The driver allegedly ran federal vehicles in an attempt to escape sources within U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Homeland Security investigations, told Fox. Federal agents opened fire. One U.S. Marshal was struck in the hand by what initially appeared to be a bullet ricochet, sources say. The illegal immigrant was struck in the elbow. Both were taken to the hospital and were expected to survive. Assuming this is the same guy that I reported on yesterday. Now, I'm assuming that. Let me see if I can get some more information about his name, because there was CNN did a false report about a man who kept doxing federal agents, and he would ram their cars into them. I'm not seeing the guy's name to see if it's the same guy, but it's very similar to the story I shared yesterday, and it was the same area. I don't know. I don't know if it's exactly the same guy, but it sounds very similar. Sounds very similar. Okay, so in Texas, Greg Abbott, and this is off the press reporting that Greg Abbott says Texas is targeting professors who push leftism. Finally, in order to change the country, we have to take back the areas of influence that they have stolen for decades. Education system was probably number one, media number two, or maybe they're both at the same level. Maybe they're both number one. These are two real powerful institutions. And because of people like you turning into shows just like this, you have grabbed the power, you've taken it out of the hands of the few, and you've given it to the hands of the many. So give yourself a round of applause, everybody who's watching this show. If it wasn't for you and what you've been doing by turning into independent content creators like me, they would still have massive control over the media. If it wasn't for people like the Dilly Mean team creating content like that, we wouldn't be able to hold on to the narrative in a funny way that people can resonate with. So congratulations on you. So Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott said on Sunday that the state is actively going after professors at public universities who push leftist ideologies over important studies. Abbott made the comment in a response to a University of Texas at Austin professor getting dismissed from an administrative position over an ideological differences, a move that was reported by Axios last week in a post on X sharing the Axios story. Abbott wrote, Texas is targeting professors who are more focused on pushing left ideologies rather than preparing students to lead our nation. In other words, teachers who are pushing communism in their school. And the sad thing is, I don't think most of them even realize what they're doing. They say they want to protect democracy and fight for democracy. Meanwhile, all that brainwashing that's gone on for decades in their brain. And remember, they don't even know what's going on. If you've watched my show in the last few weeks, we've really dived into the mind control aspect that is going on. And people don't even know it's happening. I showed you the video of the Analytica person coming on and talking about how they control the person's mind in order to make the decisions that they want them to make. Cambridge Analytica. You have to be watching my show every day. And if you miss the live show, you got to go to the repeat, because I build and I build and I build and I keep coming back, because some people are new that come to the show, and I keep coming back to some of the content so people can catch up. But you need to go back to those shows, because I don't think all these teachers realize. Clearly, some of my family members don't even think they're brainwashed whatsoever. They think I'm brainwashed, and they think I need to do research because I watch Fox, which I don't. I don't watch Fox. I'll be honest with you. I don't. I watch Real America's Voice. So going back to the article, we must end indoctrination and return to education fundamentals at all levels of education. After being dismissed, tenured psychology professor Art Markman said on LinkedIn he's preparing for a new chapter in his career. He had been at the University of Texas for 27 years, eventually becoming a senior vice provost for academic affairs. Markman is also a co-host of the science podcast, Two Guys on Your Head. Weird name. Two Guys on Your Head. He did not say what ideological differences led to his dismissal. The Daily Wire reached out to the University of Texas at Austin seeking comment. Marksman's dismissal came as the University of Texas system, which consists of 14 academic and health institutions across the state, launched a review of gender identity and LGBTQ studies. The Austin American-Statesman reported the probe will look into courses at all 14 of the system's institutions. California Dems plan website to track ICE activities in Los Angeles. This is a really dangerous game they're playing. If you watched a G. Edward Griffin video I played a while back where he was like back in the 1950s, 60s, and he talking about the communist takeover of the United States. One thing he said is that they had to set fires everywhere because there's a lot of power and concentration when, you know, all the cops come together or all the firefighters come together, all the military come together. But because their safety numbers and their power numbers, that's why united we stand, divided we fall. When they start setting fires all over the country, then it starts dividing the public servants, our protectors, our police, our fire, our military to go after these fires, right? And that's the idea behind it, because they want to get all of our people so divided that they can't keep up with all the fires, and then our country falls. And this is a deliberate attack to get rid of the ICE agents, because not only the plan is backfiring on them, they're trying to set all these fires across the country. And they think that like, they were used to the last Donald Trump, where he didn't do anything because he was waiting for the local government to ask for help, but they never asked. And we watched for weeks and weeks and weeks, cities across the country burn up in flames. He's a different president this time. He learned from the first time. So he's using his constitutional powers to go after and stop all of this massacre that's going, not massacre, well, kind of. I mean, they're targeting the ICE agents, they're targeting MAGA people, but they're going after them. So he's using the federal government to back the local police, technically, right? At least in this instance, he's using the National Guard to protect the ICE agents, because their voting base is disintegrating like that, and Donald Trump's going after their voting base, and we have stories on that. So in California, officials announced plans on Monday. Yeah, they're going to lose all the elections because all their illegal votes are going away. So they're doing whatever they can to stop the federal government from enforcing the laws that are on the books, because they can't lose their voting base. They won't be elected again. So plans, this is serious. This is a matter of national security. Our elections are a matter of national security. I hope we get that through our heads, how important elections are. And I really didn't get the gravity of it until 2020. I already knew they were important, but when it came to national security, I really didn't get the gravity until 2020. So during a press conference alongside Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, Robert Garcia, who's a representative there in California, revealed the new platform would come as part of an investigation he is leading on the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee. In conjunction, Senator Blumenthal is leading a similar investigation into ICE on the Seattle side through the Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations. Over the course of the next couple of weeks, the Oversight Committee will be launching on their website a master ICE tracker, where they're going to be essentially tracking every single instance, and we can verify that the community will send, and we'll be able to send us information on it, and we'll be able to and it'll be available in one central place, and you'll be able to look up that information as it relates to Los Angeles as well, Garcia said. This plan is to create a master ICE tracker probing the agency's movement in California, most heavily populated area, will likely trigger surveillance from the Justice Department. I hope so. This is a very dangerous situation, and they think we're the authoritarians. These ICE officers are enforcing the laws that members of Congress enacted and a president signed into law. So I don't understand why these local government. I do understand, but this is just disgusting. This is how you tear apart a country. This is how you have a color revolution. These very steps. So far, they've been unsuccessful this go around, but they've been so used to winning. But to think that they're tracking like this, the ICE officers, and I can't say for sure, but I have a pit in my stomach that they're going to give that information out to the Antifa and the activists, the terrorist activists, to go after and start trying to shoot and kill these ICE officers. Oh, my heart just aches for that. Off the Press is also reporting that Texas finds thousands of illegal aliens on state voter rolls. They're everywhere. They're in my state. They're in your state. They're on every voter roll so that they can get Democrats elected. And that's why they're going after the ICE agents. That's why their voting base is going to disappear, and they can't have that. It all comes down to them getting reelected again to maintain the power that they've had and to usher us into the one world government. A Texas election review has identified thousands of illegal immigrants on state voter rolls, Texas Secretary of State Jane Nelson said on Monday. This is from Off the Press. Nelson said a cross-check of state voter records found that more than 2,700 possible illegal immigrants were registered on the voter rolls, leading to an eligibility review across 254 counties. The data came from a full comparison of Texas's 18 million registered voters against federal citizenship records in the U.S. Citizenship Immigration Services SAVE database, according to the Secretary of State's website office. Only eligible United States citizens may participate in our elections. The Trump administration decision to give states free and direct access to this data set for the first time has been a game changer. I have a feeling my Secretary of State, Agent Fontes, isn't going to look into that because I have a suspicion that they were elected based on illegal immigrant votes. So they appreciate the partnership with the federal government. Now, I have a video clip that I want to play for you about a guy who did a political Halloween decoration to spark criticism. But I'm going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to watch that video, and that's coming up next. Let me tell you a quick story that's important to you and your family's health. In 1963, the FDA banned a promising new discovery in the fight against cancer. Letrozole, also known as B17, was so popular among its consumers that some 70,000 plus Americans crossed into Mexico to smuggle it back into the United States, according to Newsweek. Letrozole was under constant attack by big pharma, big media, big government. Sounds familiar? Kind of like Ivermectin. And just like Ivermectin, Letrozole was both a solution and a problem. You see, Letrozole is naturally found in 1,200 plus foods, including apricot seeds. So Big Pharma can't make money off of it, and that's a big problem. In the 70s, Sloan Kettering, an American cancer research institute, found Letrozole was successful at preventing cancer and stopping it from growing. That's according to numerous sources at Sloan Kettering and researchers for the movie Second Opinion. So what does this mean to you? Well, I'm going to give you a source for Letrozole. So to find out more, go to the rncstore.com, and when you're there, use promo code Amber May at checkout.
All right, America, Patriots, we are currently on the Amber May Show, so stay tuned. Amber May.
This week, we celebrate Flag Day and the 250th birthday of the United States Army, two powerful reminders of courage, sacrifice, and service that define our great nation. One way you can honor that legacy is by supporting our military, veterans, and first responders just by using your cell phone. Patriot Mobile is the only Christian conservative wireless provider, and their mission is to put faith, family, and freedom above everything else, and that's why I'm proud to partner with them. With access of all three major networks, 5G US networks, you'll get reliable nationwide coverage while giving back to those who serve. When you make the switch to Patriot Mobile, you'll support incredible organizations like Folds of Honor, Tunnels to Tower, Boot Campaigns, Soldier Strong, Warrior Rising, and more. Their 100% US-based customer service team makes switching easy. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Get activated in minutes over the phone. Go to patriotmobile.com/Amber or call 972-PATRIOT and use promo code Amber at checkout to get a free month of service. That's patriotmobile.com/Amber or 972-PATRIOT. Support our heroes with Patriot Mobile today and get a free month of service. And now we return to the show already in progress. Friends, I am so glad you are here today. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you guys so much for being here. Please like, share, subscribe. And if you like this episode, please consider reposting. That really does help the algorithms and it helps people find my episode. I know for all of those that have been reposting my show, I want to thank you guys. I've seen that and I want to thank you guys for reposting these episodes because I'm pretty sure I'm getting more subscribers because you're doing that. So thank you. So here's an interesting, since Halloween's coming up, here's an interesting story that I wanted to share with you regarding the Halloween decorations.
And there's a house in Jackson with a not so usual Halloween display. Politically motivated decorations have made their way to TikTok and they're sparking outrage beyond the township. News 12 New Jersey's Jill Croce went to check it out.
Oh, it takes months. It takes months.
Homeowners Joe and Tracy are the ones behind the political Halloween vision, striking debate and also praise. Among the new decorations this year are an ICE vehicle with skeleton agents in Christie Nome, alligator Alcatraz with people in captivity and or being hung, and then the recurring hanging bloody babies and skeletons. The Jackson Parish says it's all about freedom of speech, and they've been doing similar political decorations for years.
Unfortunately, I got to worry about what people are trying to do to us now. This year has gone a little crazy, and we're going to defend ourselves. This is our First Amendment. It's our right.
Joe says some people are taking it the wrong way.
We're having fun with it, and if they don't like it, oh well.
Neighbor Joe calls the display a mess and distasteful.
There's better ways of, venting your freedom of speech. You don't have to put it out there like that. And like other people say, they have kids.
They've been trying to take it down. I got people calling every day, trying to take our stuff down. But like
Did
I said,
police ever get involved? Or?
The town has, but we sent them a nice letter.
Donna on the street thinks the decorations are humorous.
I think too many people are afraid to be opinionated. So he gives his opinion.
If they don't like it, just drive by. It's that simple.
In Jackson, Jill Croce, News 12, New Jersey.
It is that simple to drive by, but the way I see things, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something. It is his First Amendment right, freedom of speech. So, I mean, but we've seen the stories. I've been reporting on the stories about someone just with a Trump flag and drive-by shootings occur just from that. So something like that, for sure, I could imagine getting revenge. People getting revenge. People being so crazy and outlash that they go do harm to these people for that. So it is your right. It is your right. But just because you can do something, I don't know, should you? I mean, it is creative. You got to give them the hand on creativity. You guys tell me, do you like it? Do you like, in the chat, tell me, do you like those decorations? Yes, they were kind of funny. I get the humor in it. Or do you think maybe he shouldn't have done that? I'd love to see your opinion on that in the chat. So I'll be looking for that as I'm continuing reading more news. So Just the News is reporting an appeals court allows Trump to send National Guards to Portland. So I did have that show after all. And you know what I like?
And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
Yes. So Just the News is reporting that a federal appeals court on Monday delivered a significant win for President Donald Trump by lifting a court order that blocked him from deploying National Guard troops to Portland and his multi-city crackdown on crime. The 3-judge panel on the 9th Circuit Court lifted a lower court ruling that blocked the Trump administration's twice so far from deploying National Guard troops to Portland amid heavy protest. The fact that the 9th Circuit Court did this is huge because they are very liberal, and a lot of their decisions get overturned in higher courts. So this tells you just how bad that ruling was in the lower court, that the 9th Circuit Court said rejection. Donald Trump can deploy the troops, and anyone telling you it's unconstitutional, this 9th Circuit Court says it all. It is constitutional. Donald Trump has the constitutional authority to deploy the National Guard troops in the United States. In the United States. The 9th Circuit Court said it. The most liberal court there is in the United States said that he could. So stop saying that he is being authoritative. He's being the king. He doesn't have the constitutional right. He has the constitutional right. All right, Portland, safety's coming your way. Safety's coming your way. ICE officers and the National Guard's going to be deporting all these horrible illegal immigrants from all these cartels and making Portland safe again. Congratulations, Oregon. Congratulations for having a safe state again, thanks to President Donald Trump, the fascist dictator who wants to make Oregon safe again. Unlike the local government in Oregon, who could care less about your safety, your supposed fascist, a Nazi president is making your state safe again. And then the Center Square is reporting that Illinois asked Supreme Court not to give Trump authority over National Guard. Sorry, the 9th Circuit Court already ruled. I love this because if they do it, now we have case law, right? So the state of Illinois asked the U.S. Supreme Court not to hear President Trump's request to deploy National Guard to Chicago amid a disagreement about plans for immigration enforcement in the state's most populous city. How come, Illinois? How come you don't want your state safe for your citizens? How come the local government of Illinois doesn't want to make their state safe? Why are they fighting this? Because they are going to lose in the election, because they're going to lose their voter base. We just had that article about illegals voting in Texas. It's not just Texas. It's all in the 50 states of America. Every state has illegals on the voter roll. I can almost guarantee it. The top attorney for Illinois and Chicago said Trump has overstepped his authority, but we're joined by officials from Los Angeles, California, and elsewhere in the legal fight over who controls the troops. The court should decline applicants' request to unsettle the equitable judgment reflected in the 7th Circuit Court and to take the dramatic step of permanently deployment of National Guard troops over Illinois' objection. For the handful of days the temporary restraining order currently remains in effect, Illinois Attorney General team wrote in a legal filing. The state and others have challenged Trump's authority to deploy the National Guards to cities over objection of local leaders. It doesn't require local leaders to have National Guard troops. The president doesn't have to do that. And the 9th Circuit Court just proved it. The most liberal court in the United States just proved that. So that is a falsity that is being perpetrated all around the left media, and that's a left talking point that you have to have local authority. No, you don't. The president does not to deploy the National Guard. Applicants' contrary arguments rest on the mischaracterization of the federal records on the lower court's views of legal principles. The state said in a response as the district court found state and local law enforcement officers have handled isolated protest activities in Illinois. There is no credible evidence to the contrary. Plaintiffs had asserted 9 claims, each of which is a variation of the same underlying request for the federal courts to second-guess the president's determination and the conditions for federalizing the National Guard have been satisfied here. Attorneys for the group wrote, there is no express private cause of action to bring these claims, and for nearly 200 years, the court has recognized that the president's determination is non-justiciable. So filing in the Illinois case came the same day as 3-judge panel from the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals on the 9th Circuit overturned a temporary restraining order issued by a federal judge in Portland, removing a judicial obstruction and prevented Trump from sending Oregon National Guard troops to Portland. Yes. So Chicago's transit violent crime at a 7-year high, funding concerns persist. This is from the centersquare.com. With federal authorities now threatening to cut Chicago's transit authority funding due to rising violence across the system, Illinois State Representative Ford worries actions being taken by the federal government could put vulnerable riders at even more risk. Chicago police data shows that at the same time transit systems arrests have dropped, overall violent crimes across the system hit its second highest level in 2015, and in 12 months ending in July, riders reported almost 3,000 crimes or 2.7 transgressions for every 100,000 riders. Ford of Chicago said the government's growing funding threats only stand to exacerbate the problem. This government clearly has decided to take a position of cutting funds because of crime, and they've cut funds to reduce funding for housing and substance abuse and crime prevention, Ford told the Center Square. When you have federal government cutting funds for safety net programs at the same time saying we need to reduce crime, they're actually playing a role in making sure that people don't have the resources they need. Give me a load of crap. What did we just show you about Chicago, about Portland? There's a story coming up about Memphis. So let's talk about safety in cities, right? I told you I have a story in Memphis. So Off the Press says the ICE arrests violent illegal immigrants in Memphis crime crackdown. So he is trying to make your city safe again. The Trump administration crime crackdown in Memphis led to the arrest of serious illegal immigrant criminals, the Daily Wire has learned. The illegal immigrant gang members, pedophiles, rapists, domestic abusers, and drug traffickers all have been taken off the streets by federal immigration authorities deployed by President Donald Trump in Memphis in recent weeks. Memphis has suffered from historic levels of violent crime, including a murder rate that is 4 times higher than Mexico. No American should be afraid to walk down their streets in their own neighborhood. I agree with that. In Memphis, DHS law enforcement is working hand in glove with the Attorney General Pam Bondi to enhance public safety, fight crime, and provide much needed support to our law enforcement partners at the local, state, and federal level. The Trump administration will make America safe again. Authorities arrested illegal immigrants who were previously apprehended for fondling a child, according to the Department of Homeland Security. Disgusted human beings. And I don't know where they get off saying this, but Democrat congressman calls on NYPD to arrest ICE agents for what? To enforce the law that the Congress put into place? How are you going to arrest them for doing their job? That is so rich. This is from Just the News. Democrat New York congressman is calling to the NYPD to arrest and prosecute ICE agents who engage in unlawful actions. Okay, if an officer engages in unlawful actions, they do get in trouble. Some of them lose their badge depending on how bad what they did. Okay, so during a federal so that's always been the case, right? If you've been unlawful, you lose your badge. That's just what happens. This is so stupid. It's just a talking point. So during a federal immigration crackdown in the city, in a letter to NYPD Commissioner Dan Goldman rips U.S. Immigration Custom Enforcement and Border Patrol officers outrageous and unlawful conduct. I don't think so. Not unlawful. Because Congress wrote immigration laws. And they're enforcing the laws Congress made. How is this violating law? Goldman said that the likely possibility that the Department of Homeland Security will send armies of agents into New York City for civil immigration purposes. He urged the NYPD to prepare to strictly enforce state and local law in order to hold federal agents accountable for any unlawful actions they engage in, including potentially through arrest and prosecution of felony violations. This is just a talking point for them to get up there and grandstand If you have a problem with the immigration law, call your congressman, call your senator. Oh, you can't. Government shutdown. Darn. When the government opens, call them and tell them how outraged you are about the laws that they put. And tell them just disregard every single immigration law so that we could just welcome anyone into our country. It doesn't matter that they killed and raped a kid. Doesn't matter that they're bringing drugs to destroy your family's life. Doesn't matter that they want to murder you. Anyone can come in. If you have that, if that's the law you want in the books, go call them. Have them write a bill. Until then, the ICE officers are doing what the law says, and that's to take illegals who break the law, federal law, being here illegally, into custody. Goldman's lawyer, who has a House counsel participating in Donald Trump's 2019 impeachment inquiry, cited ICE policies barring civil immigration enforcement authority against U.S. citizens. He said news outlets have reported that federal agents have repeatedly detained or deported American citizens in clear violation of their constitutional rights. No persons, regardless of their badge, should be permitted to assault or unlawfully detain any New Yorkers without facing consequences. In light of this failure of federal oversight, it is the responsibility of the city to uphold the rule of law and protect the public. Well, they are upholding the rule of law and protecting the public. You just want to be reelected again, so you're fighting the power. Well, I have a lot more I could discuss, but hey, that's enough for today. Let's head on over to the Michael Schwartz Show. So thank you guys so much for being here. Remember, come back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern right here on Rumble. See you tomorrow. Thank you for joining us today on the Amber May Show. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And if there's someone that came to mind, please share this episode with them. Please follow us on Telegram at The Amber May Show, True Social Amber May, Frank Socially Amber May, or Clout Hub. I can't wait to see you next time on the Amber May Show.